we should be like up close and personal like this, but I feel like that is too close. Hi everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell by the title, I actually tried to film this video I think last year. I would say probably like around the start of last year or something, and I just didn't like the way it turned out, so we're here the next year filming it again. I've written down some dot points that are right next to me because I would probably not remember what I wanted to say. So I have it over here. For this video, I'm going to be talking about all the things to help you guys get into reading if you're a beginner reader, or maybe you're just kind of like struggling a bit. Some like tips in here, you know, if you're in a slump. I hope this helps and I hope it gets you into reading, and if it does, good on me. Number one for this video is finding a genre that you will love. I know this might take a while for quite a few people. There are obviously a range of different genres. You have your fiction, non-fiction, romance, science fiction. For me, honestly, finding a genre was a little easy because as a kid I always loved fantasy and dystopian and all that stuff. I was a little bit into romance, but I feel like romance for me as a kid was mainly just a subplot because I wasn't really that interested in any of that stuff. I was more into, you know, your dragons, your magic systems, and I was a massive fan of Harry Potter. I still am to this day. And also because of the book community on TikTok when it first came around, it was actually mainly fantasy and dystopian, so that actually really helped me get into reading, and I had like so many different books I could start, and one of them, which if you've been on my channel before, I've mentioned probably multiple times already, but Throne of Glass was the book / series that actually got me back into reading. Finding a genre is honestly one of the most important things, because if you're reading a genre that you do not love, it's not going to make you like or love reading. I know there's a lot of people it's like, oh, I don't read, I've only read since like the 4th grade and all that stuff, and reading's not for me. Like the words on the pages, no. I honestly feel like there is a book for every single different person. You just haven't found the right one, and that's what I always say. I haven't said to anyone that said that they don't read. There's such a wide range of books that you could literally explore, and you could find the one that you love that would make you get into reading, you know. Going on to number 2, finding short / fast-paced books. I find them very helpful for number 1 if you're in a reading slump, or number 2 you do not want to read a massive book, and I find them amazing. I could probably make a video on all the short books / fast-paced books that I have read and give you those recommendations if you're in a slump, or, you know, like I said before, you don't want to read like a massive book, you know, you just want something nice, short, sweet. Short chapters are freaking amazing as well. I hate long chapters. Even with those long chapters that you know could have been split to make another chapter, that is also a thing that really helps with fast-paced books. If the chapters are short, it makes you feel like you're completing the book faster, even though you're literally reading the same amount of pages as you would a bigger book, or like a book with long chapters. You're reading the same amount of pages, but it just makes you feel like you're reading it faster. Number 3, read in your spare time. I know a lot of people can be busy and not really have much spare time, but let's just say you're on break for work, or you have maybe 20-30 minutes before you have to go out, and you have that little bit of kind of free time. Read in that time. Just any time that you can find, even maybe like, I wouldn't say 5 minutes because that's probably only like 2 pages. Depends on how fast or slow you read. Just finding that time that you think will be really good reading time, just read in that time, you know. This also kind of leads into number 4, which is finding a really good spot to read in. Being comfortable while you're reading makes it one of the best things ever, because I feel like if you're uncomfortable, you're not focusing on the book, you're focusing on like moving around, obviously, to find that comfortable position. But if you're comfortable and you're basically in the zone, it just makes reading so much better. I have my bed that's right here. It's a very comfortable bed. I will lick it. I could literally sit up on my bed for so long and read my book in just one position. And I have proof of that reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo while I cried. If you don't have anywhere comfortable to sit and read, you could literally just go out and buy a beanbag if you have the money. Or one of those Capson chairs. It's like that big, massive circle chair and you got like the cushion in the middle. It looks so comfortable to read in. I want one so bad, but I have no room in my room or in the lounge room. Also as well, with finding comfortable spots, have like either music, ambient ambience noise. I always listen to ambience music, which is the rain, thunderstorm, fireplace, like if you mix that together. I know there's ones like the Royal Library kind of thing. I will link some of the ones that I actually listen to while I read, and it helps so much because I feel like sometimes music can be good when reading, but I get distracted easily by the lyrics and that, and so it doesn't help with reading whatsoever. So I don't listen really to music while I'm reading, unless I'm in the car and I just want to tune everyone out. Number 5 is a Kindle. This is one I have. I've currently put my cover that I got for Christmas, not last year, the year before. I have the 11th generation, which is, I was gonna say the new one, but I know there's another one that came out that is a Kindle, but I feel like it's a bit too big for a Kindle. It's mainly like a massive tablet. So I'm just gonna say I have the latest edition of the Kindle. This is my absolutely holy grail. I've had quite a few people that have gotten into reading ask if a Kindle is worth it, and I say absolutely freaking lutely. It is one of the best things ever. You can get Kindle Unlimited. I know in like overseas it's like $10 a month, even though here it's $14 a month. They have really great 3 to 6 month deals, which I absolutely love, and so I'm not gonna lie, I basically done that every single time. You pay once for the whole 6 months, and it's, not gonna lie, it's pretty cheap. I think it is absolutely worth it. It makes me feel like I'm reading it so much more faster than a physical book, and I absolutely love that. And it's very convenient for when you're lying down. The battery life is amazing, and I love it so much. So if anyone is deciding to get a Kindle, absolutely get one. It is so worth the money. Number 6 is audiobooks. This is another way of reading. I know there are quite a few people who say audiobooks aren't a part of reading. Like, you're not reading if you're listening to an audiobook. It is a way of reading. Thank you very much. Reading a physical book, reading a Kindle, listening to audiobook, any of that other stuff is reading. You're listening to someone reading the book to you. That is reading. I would highly suggest signing up to Audible. It's not sponsored because I ain't getting no sponsorships with Audible probably anytime soon. If anyone's on the Audible team, sponsor me. I feel like audiobooks are really great for if you're doing something busy and you want to read a book, you can just listen to it, or if you're in the car, you can listen to it as well. It's just really convenient for any time that you're busy or you just don't feel like picking up a physical book. You can just use an audiobook, and I feel like it's great. I wasn't much of a fan of audiobooks because my mind does wander off a lot when listening to audiobooks, so I have to like go back to like what I remember and then listen to that again, and then I'll most likely forget what happened, so I have to go back and forth and just, yeah. Also, it does make you finish the book pretty quickly, obviously, because you're listening to it, but I do listen to it on like a fast speed. I can't listen to it at the normal speed because they are so slow. I think I listen to it like 1.6 or something, 1.5, 1.6. It just depends on your preference. Like, I feel like once you get used to the audio speed, you kind of just keep going up. Depends on how slow they're reading it or how fast they're reading it, which most of the time it is very slow. Number 7 is try to avoid reading slumps. This one is kind of hard to like explain, I guess, because it is very different for everybody. Reading slumps mainly are like you're burnt out. Like, let's just say you read like 14 books in 1 month, and then the next month you read like 2 because of how many books that you read in that 1 month. And I feel like that's happened to me as well. I remember last year I started off so good, and then I read like less and less basically every single month because I had read so much and I was burnt out from reading so many books, and I was just like, I can't do it. I feel like a way of avoiding a reading slump is if you finish a book, make sure you finish it at night. Personally for me, because if you finish a book at night, you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, it's kind of like it's still in your mind, but it's kind of like, okay, what do I read next? It's a fresh start. Next day you can start a new book. I feel like if I'm really in the mood to read a book, I will go pick up that book. I feel like that's also a way of avoiding reading slumps. Don't read the books that you feel pressure to read. Read the books that you're in the mood for. I can't really explain it in like one specific way because it's different for everyone when they're in a slump, and I feel like it's different for a lot of people to avoid. There is no real way of avoiding it because it will happen. You will be in slumps. Number 8, bring your books everywhere. And I mean everywhere. If you're going to a restaurant, bring the book. Unless you're on a date, don't bring the book. If you're going out to a family event kind of thing, bring a book. If you're going on a road trip, definitely bring a book. But I bring my books everywhere I go. Even if it's like a short trip, I bring it with me because I have to. I either bring my Kindle with me if I'm reading a book on my Kindle, or I bring my physical book. Mainly, I sometimes bring both because I don't know which one to choose, and so I just bring both of them, get in the car, and then I'll just choose whatever I want to read. Number 9 is a TBR. If you don't know what TBR means, it means to be read. And so you can have monthly TBRs. So you can choose the books that you want to read for the month, you know, if you're in the mood for any of them. And then as a month goes, you can look at that TBR, pick a book up, and then you can read it, you know. It's pretty self-explanatory. Number 10 is setting a goal. You could set a goal for maybe reading 10 pages for the day. Read that amount of pages and, you know, that's your goal. It's honestly a great idea to set a goal because you just feel like you want to achieve something, and so when you set a goal for maybe the day, the week, whatever you want to set that goal for, it just feels like you're accomplishing something and it makes it fun. Personally for me, I set a goal for myself every day. I never really achieve it because I'm that bad at goals. Number 11 is annotating. I feel like this is not really controversial because a lot of people do it, but there are the like small majority of people, does that make sense? The small majority, small amount of people that do not like annotating, and that is okay. I was honestly very against writing and highlighting in my books because I did not want to ruin my books whatsoever. I've actually grown to like it, you know. I find it very fun. Annotating is just a way to help me be in the book and like focusing on it, because you're looking for like small or important things to like underline, annotate, write about in the book. Annotating is just, you know, a way to have your thoughts down. It's also a really great idea for when you want to look back at the book and like certain moments that you're thinking of, you can just like go to that color tab or whatever, or even like quotes that you want to post on TikTok, you can just go to that page and then, you know, it's there, which I think is really great. And, you know, everyone has different opinions and ways of annotating, and I love seeing how a lot of people annotate. I feel like it's basically like fascinating, like to see their thought process while reading, I guess. Number 12, this one is a big one that I still need to learn, but DNFing is okay. If you do not know what DNF means, it means did not finish. So essentially, let's just say you got like 30% into the book, you didn't like it, so you just closed it, put it away. This is something that I still need to learn doing, because I have a very big thing these days of, even if I do not like the book, I will still try to finish it. And that also counts into like getting into reading slumps, because I didn't DNF the book that I didn't like, you know, and I should have. And I know that I should have, but I still just don't DNF. But this year I've made it to one of my goals to DNF books that I do not like and not finish them. I think I've already DNF'd a book this year, which is great. DNFing is going into the last thing for this video, which is number 13, and that is do not compare yourself to others. I feel like I can't really give this advice because I still compare myself, because I am a slow reader, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty jealous of all the people that are fast readers and can finish a book like in a day, in a couple days, which I can finish a book in a couple days, but I can't finish a book in a day. I never have been able to, unless it's like a graphic novel like Heartstopper. I finished that whole 4-book series in a day. Being a slow reader is hard, because then you see so many people, it's like, oh, I read 14 books this month, I read 20 books this month, and you're just like, I read like 2. But that is okay. Whether you have read 1 book, whether you didn't read a book at all, whether you read 15 books that month, that is okay. No one's gonna judge you, and no one should be judging you for how much you read and how fast or slow that you read a book. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still learning not to compare myself to other readers, because I do get into that mindset like, oh, I should have read this much, I should have read that book, I should have done this, I should have done that. I'm saying that now, but then later on I was like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. It's not okay to compare yourself to others, because you're letting yourself down, and it's just probably gonna get you into a slump, you know, because you want to read these books so fast and you can't, and you're staying up reading all these books because other people are reading them, or you just want to finish finish them so quickly. So, you know, put a review up and like, hey, I actually read this book. Read at your own pace, read whatever books you want. It does not matter. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, do all the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, yada yada yada. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I will answer them for you. If I've missed anything, I think I've covered all the basics. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!